Good evening guys and welcome into another video. As usual, if you can smash a like and subscribe into this channel, you're gonna give me a massive support because I'm keep trying to maintain this channel on a high level. So your support is gonna help me a lot to keep creating every single week better content. So today we're gonna talk about something that many people always ask me. The question is how to have visible abs. Unfortunately, many people keep thinking that to have visible abs they should make 1 million crunches, 1 million scissors a day. This is the wrong concept. The abs are coming out when we are on diet, when we got a low level of body fat, and when the muscle is pushing out the skin, so the abs are more visible. What's the amount of body fat that we should have? So overall is 12% of body fat for men and 16 to 18% of body fat for a woman. But please consider that for every single person these numbers are different. What does it mean? That if you check the body fat to a person that has got more body fat but a lot of muscle underneath his skin, of course, as said before, that muscle is gonna push away even more and he's gonna look skinnier and with more muscles, but just because genetically he has got more muscle. So before to start to talk about what best exercise is advised to train abs, let's talk a bit more about the anatomy of our abdominal section. So after many years of studies, many people keep thinking that we got upper abs, lower abs, and that's all. It's not really like that. Our abdominals are composed by a full section called rectus abdominis. Then on the side we can find the external abdominal oblique. Then more deep inside we can find the internal abdominal obliques. Then in the bottom, the one that is called V-shape in slang, is called transversus abdominis. So of course there are different ways to train all of these muscle section, but there is a proper study that shows the best way to train abs. So before to talk about that, let's talk about why we got abs, why our body has got this really important muscle group. The reason is to maintain the stability. So core and glute are that muscles that maintain the stability into our body, and it allowed our body to don't put a lot of pressure on our spine. The main function of the abdominal is the flexion, as we can see in here. So what's the key exercise that allowed our body to maintain this flexion is the crunch. There is a really important study that has got more than 20 years which shows that the crunch is the best exercise to perform when we want to train on abs. The best way to perform crunches, as you can see in here, is to elevate your knees. Firmly maintain your feet on the floor. Your chin is close to your chest and your arms slightly support your head. With your hands, you don't want to bring your heads up, but you want to slightly support your neck. Then what is really important is to maintain your lower back fully on the floor and push the floor down with that lowest part of the spine. Your scapulas is slightly going up, controlling your movement, and your shoulders are slightly in front of your chest. Of course, after a long time performing the same movement, it's going to be really difficult to feel that burn into your abs because you already get used to that type of movement. So we can use the most important thing that we got when we step in a gym, the progressive overload. So to perform a progressive overload, we have of course to use weight, and the best way to do that is to use a dumbbell on top of your chest, or even using a machine. Using a crunch machine could be a good solution, or as you can see in here, using cables. So my advice is to not exaggerate with the amount of weight that we are lifting, but to put a low amount of weight that will allow us to maintain a perfect technique. Next really important and effective exercise, as you can see in here, is the leg raises. We can perform it in two movements. The first one is slightly easier because we're gonna maintain the back on the wall to support our spine. The other one is to maintain the core fully engaged, hanging on our rack and bringing our legs up. So different of what everyone thinks, we don't just bring the legs up without any reason, but we even move the hips, bringing slightly your glutes up. The movement has to be nice and controlled on the way up and on the way down. And to perform it correctly, we have to try as everything. Another way to perform this exercise, exactly the same muscle engagement, is to perform the Dragonfly, the one that Sylvester Stallone used to do it in Rocky 4. So the best way to perform that is on a bench. You're gonna grab that behind your head, you're gonna lift up your legs, maintaining your knees nice and locked. Then from that position, you slightly going down until you're gonna touch the bench and then come back up. Especially for beginners, there is a really important exercise that you should perform, and that one is called plank. So the one that you can see in the video is not a correct plank. The one that you see into this video is not a correct plank. To perform a plank correctly, you need to follow three simple teaching points. The first one is curving your upper back. The second one is squeezing your glute. The third one is to slightly going ahead with your body. Then you maintain that position for 20, 30, 40 seconds, 1 minute, depend to your goal and to your level of fitness. There is another study from one of my favorite PhD, Brad Schoenfeld, where he said that the plank is not the best exercise to engage your core, but with two simple variations, you can engage your core even more and finally let it work. So those two teaching points are to bring your arms ahead with two little steps. And the second one is to bring your hips back. Then you're gonna maintain this position for the time, of course, that you need. Now let's see how to add them into a plan. So we can train them 2 to 3 times a week. And I would say to maintain 2 to 3 reps into each exercise. You can perform them in a superset to make it in a shorter amount of time with a pretty high amount of reps, more than 12, doing even reps on your maximum effort, that one that is written as max. So guys, the video will end now. I hope you learned something new. And if you need any help, of course you know where to find me. I mean Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I don't mean like to knock on my door because that one will be a bit weird. I hope to see you again next time, and inshallah.